What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, welcome if it's your first time here. If you remember a video I did about 3 weeks before the January 6th event happened, the one in DC where we still have people locked away, rotting away in a prison cell without due process and without a trial. And it's been the thing they've used to persecute Donald Trump, to persecute the people on the right, to label the people on the right as extremists and terrorists and things. And if you remember the video I did, I warned you all not to go. I begged you all not to go. And in that video, my prediction was that the deep state was going to do just what they did, but I thought that it was going to be more than likely different terrorist attacks across the country, especially in DC when this was going on, but around the country. You're going to blame it on conservatives, I said. You're going to blame it on patriots, Christians, and label those people as being terrorists and insurrectionists. And we saw that's pretty much exactly what happened. I nailed it. And I got a lot of negative comments to that video because people were calling me a coward. People were saying that they were going to take the country back. They're going to stand by Donald Trump 4 more years. And I said that's not going to happen. I told people what's going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. Because it was so easy to see the opportunity was there. Donald Trump called on his supporters to come to DC for a rally, and I saw that and I said, man, that is a horrible idea, because I knew how it was going to be. It's going to be used against the right, conservatives, Christians, mega Trump supporters, or whatever is going to be used against their political enemies. That's exactly what happened. And the lesson here is, I've talked about this before in other videos from a few years ago, to be very cautious about who you listen to. Because, the person that is, like in your group, that is made friends with you, take Randy Weaver, for example. He was made friends with by an ATF informant, and was made friends, an ATF informant, hung out with him, made friends with him for over 2 years, I think it was. And the whole time he's working for the ATF and working to set Randy Weaver up because he was an extremist, supposedly. And they had their informant to talk Randy Weaver into sawing 2 shotgun barrels off below the legal 18-inch limit, which he did. He needed money, and he did that and turned it over to the ATF informant. And here comes the U.S. Marshals to raid his mountain cabin in Idaho, and they end up shooting his son, his dog, his wife, shooting Randy Weaver, and it was a huge mess. And all it was a setup. They worked with Randy Weaver, made friends with Randy Weaver through their informant, and Randy Weaver unfortunately fell for it. He thought the guy was his friend. He thought he was legit, and he did something that was illegal. And you see what happened. He lost somebody's family, unfortunately. And if you are in a group, if you are friends with someone and they're constantly trying to get you to do something that is illegal, they're constantly talking about taking up arms, doing this and that or something else that is against the law, that is going to get you in jail if you get caught, or worse, be very cautious, because that person is more than likely, an ATF agent. A lot of the times, I remember reading about the Ku Klux Klan. I'm not saying the Ku Klux Klan was right. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying they were a group. They were penetrated. And all these groups are the same way. And a lot of the higher-ups, the leaders of the Klan, were FBI, were ATF, leading the group. And they will try to get the group to get radicalized, to do certain things. We've seen this in different plotted terrorist attacks that's been brought out, that it was actually FBI working with people that they're trying to entrap. We saw this in the Michigan case, where the plot was uncovered by I think it's the FBI, on that one also, to kidnap, the governor in Michigan. And that was used to persecute the right again. And I see comments to my videos from people talking about taking up arms, talking about violence. And we all know, who's doing that. We all know why that's happening. They're trying to set people up. They're trying to get people to do things. They're trying to entrap people. So if you're in a group and one person in that group is extremist and trying to get you to do illegal things, the most provocative, trying to get you to commit crimes, trying to get you to do things that will land you in prison or in a grave when you get caught, be very cautious, because that person is probably an agent. They take a lot of people who aren't radicalized, and these agents, they've been trained to use mental manipulation to radicalize other people that are already kind of on the right anyway, maybe, or the left, and they've been trained through psychological techniques to get those people motivated, to talk those people they're working on into committing crimes, that they can then arrest those people and prosecute those people. And it'll be in the news, this radical right-wing extremist group was planning on doing this, but they don't tell you that the whole thing was plotted and orchestrated by one of their own agents. And the people who was in that group, a lot of those people were, just good old boys, not planning on doing anything at all besides, going to the shooting range, talking, hanging out, drinking a few beers maybe, and talking about, politics. And having their group, their militia group or whatever, planning on doing nothing at all unless they were attacked themselves. Here comes the FBI agent. Here comes the ATF agent. They work into the group slowly over a couple of years, and they become close friends. They hang out together. They do things together. They do things as a family together. Their family and your family. And the whole time they're baiting you up. They are manipulating you. They are brainwashing you to do certain things and to trust them. And then they keep going and going and going until they get a plot, and they get others motivated to take part in that plot. And next thing you know, you're arrested and you are in jail. So this information, this advice will keep you out of jail. Avoid these people like the plague. The people who are screaming the loudest, the ones who act like they're the most patriotic and trying to get us to do something all the time. Preppers, we're not about prepping in a militia group is different. A prepper group and a militia group is different. And prepping groups are just preparing to survive hard times. We lay back supplies, we get armed in case we're attacked. We have no intention of going on the offensive, especially, against the federal government, because it's a fool's errand, in my opinion. And, don't fall for it. Don't be entrapped. And remember, like I said, ATF, FBI, CIA, they work in groups. They work against individuals, work with individuals. They will befriend you. You will be at a gun show, for example. Someone will come up, start talking to you, and they will work, their manipulation, make you think that they are on your side. You have so much in common. You might exchange phone numbers to talk later, something like that. Maybe you might work out a deal to, buy and sell a gun or something like that legally. And so you can meet again. Next thing you know, they've suckered you right in, and you become friends, you think. And you're doing this about everything you've done and everything, and they're taking notes. They're reporting back to their controllers, their heads of their departments. And next thing you know, they're wanting you to commit crimes. We've got to do this. We've got to take this country back. We've got to do this and that or something else. And you're thinking, if we do this and I get caught doing this, but I have to do this because this is my friend over here, and he is trying, he's a patriot. And I don't want to be, not patriotic. I don't want to be supportive of my friend, and I want to get this country back the way it once was, so I'm going to go along with this plan. We're going to do this thing. We're going to do this illegal act. Whether it be some kind of a terrorist thing, hijacking, kidnapping, whatever, illegal weapons or whatever. We're going to do this. He has a good plan. I think it's going to work. We're going to make a huge difference in this country. We're going to be patriots. And once it's done, and in the history books, we'll be heroes. You do this, and you're doing it right with, the ATF, the FBI agent, maybe even the CIA agent. And I know the CIA is supposed to work, in foreign nations, but we know how that works here. Anyway, don't fall for it. Be extremely careful who you trust. Keep a tight-lipped all the time. Don't trust anyone who's trying to get you to be radicalized, because the one who's speaking the loudest, screaming for the most violence, screaming for the most criminal activity to happen because you've got to be patriotic, is more than likely your agent, and they're entrapping you, wanting to send you to prison. It's happened so many times before. I mean, it's not just one time or one off, it's happened so many times. Most of your militia groups, if not all, infiltrated. Probably a lot of your prepper groups also infiltrated. People you know for years, might have went to school with, they might be the agent. They might have been recruited to be an informant. They may be getting paid to inform on the group. They will get a hold of these people and work with your friends and things to try to get them to work with them, to entrap you. Be extremely careful in those situations. I know you're not planning on doing anything. However, like I said, these agents are trained to manipulate you, to make you more likely to commit violent acts. That's what they've been trained to do. Psychological techniques befriend you and try to get you to do criminal activity. Next thing you know, you're in jail, you're behind bars. So be very, very careful and avoid these people who are always screaming for violence, who are screaming for action, taking up arms and things like that. Be very, very careful, because mostly they are either agents or working for the departments as informants, and informing back everything, working a operation to put you and your group in prison. Like I said, most of y'all aren't planning on doing anything, but they will get you to plan on doing things. They will manipulate you. They will push you into that direction. They will entrap you. So avoid those people like the plague. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. The Creekmore Matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.